Hello, my dear students. In continuation with last video lecture, we are going to start today different types of animal tissues. These different types of animal tissues we must know because all they are present in our body too. So let us begin with different types of animal tissues. Be keen while observing these animal tissues because in future you will need to understand these in better way. All these topics are as it is in 11th and 12th standard. This will be a kind of basic preparation for you for competitive type of examinations like CET. The students who are going to opt for medical field, for them it will be definitely helpful, not only to them but competitive examinations like MPSC and UPSC also. Some questions are asked based on this topic. So let us go towards animal tissues. Basically, these animal tissues are classified on the basis of their function and locations. All these animal tissues are classified mainly in four types. They are epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscular tissues, and nervous tissues. So these epithelial tissues are further classified into four different types as squamous epithelial tissues, columnar epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, ciliated epithelium. In subsequent slides, we are going to study about them in detail. Second type is connective tissue. Connective tissues are again divided into three types. They are connective tissue proper, skeletal tissues, and vascular tissues. Connective tissue proper further divided into areolar tissues, white fibrous tissues, yellow fibrous tissues, and adipose tissues. Skeletal tissues are classified as cartilage and bones, and vascular tissues are blood and lymph. All these tissues are connecting different body parts either or different tissues or organ. So they are considered as a skeletal connective tissues. Next type, as we have discussed, is muscular tissues. These muscular tissues are present in muscles and they have function mainly in locomotion. So striated muscles, non-striated muscles, and cardiac muscles are the three types. And last but not least is nervous tissues. Our brain and whole body is connected with the help of these neurons called as nervous tissues. Let's see one by one in detail. First of all, epithelial tissues. Here are different types of epithelial tissues. First of all, let us try to understand what is meant by epithelial tissues. Epi means above and thelial means to grow. So the tissues which are growing above the other organs are called as epithelial tissues. They always grow on some other types of tissues. These cells of epithelium are very close to each other and the tissues rest on a non-cellular basement membrane. This consists of single layer of cells. Blood vessels are absent and non-nervous in nature as far as epithelial tissues are concerned. It covers all the organs and lines of cavities of hollow organs like stomach. It is primarily protective in nature. For example, skin is a epithelial tissue. It protects us from other environmental factors. Epithelial tissues are classified as first squamous epithelial tissues. What is the squamous epithelial tissues? Before that, let us see first all these four types of tissues and then one by one we will see different functions and their structures. First is squamous epithelial tissues, second is columnar epithelial tissues, Third is cuboidal epithelial tissue, and last but not least ciliated epithelial tissue. These all four types of epithelial tissues. Let's in next slide we'll see about their diagram and their peculiarities. Here is squamous epithelial tissues. So first type is also called as a pavement epithelium. These cells arranged end to end like tiles on floors. You can see first figure, simple squamous epithelial tissues. Okay, so they are arranged like tiles on the floor. Cells are polygonal in surface view. It forms a delicate lining of cavities. They are present in mouth, esophagus, nose, pericardium, alveoli, etc. Blood vessels are covering of the tongue and skin are also made up of these squamous epithelial tissues. Epithelial cells are arranged in many layers. They are also called as a stratum to prevent wear and tear in skin. Just imagine if the skin is made up of only one layer, what will happen? If it get tear, then what? So below the skin also, once again, many layers of these epithelium tissues are arranged. This pattern is called as a stratified squamous epithelium tissues, not stratified squamous epithelial. Second type is cuboidal epithelium. This cuboidal epithelium are cube-like cells that fit closely. Cells look like squares in section, but free in surface appears hexagonal. It is found in kidneys, thyroid vessels, and in glands like salivary gland, sweat glands, etc. This cuboidal epithelium forms germinal epithelium of gonads in testes and ovaries, where formation of sperm cells and egg cells takes place. There also this cuboidal epithelium is present. It involves in absorption, excretion and secretion. It provides mechanical support to the different body parts. So this was about cuboidal epithelium. Next type is columnar epithelium. Now what is by column? Column means pillar. You know, for construction purpose, first of all, we construct pillars, isn't it? So pillar like means columnar, and epithelium we know above. So it forms lining of stomach, small intestine and colon, forming mucous membranes. Border of microvilli is present at the surface end of each cells, which increases absorption efficiency in small intestine. So this was about columnar epithelium. Column-like structures are present, finger-like projections are present, which are helping for absorption. It increases surface area for absorption. So they are very important in function. Next part, that is ciliated epithelium. Cilia means hair-like structures. Okay. So cells may be cuboidal or columnar. In case of ciliated epithelium, they are also called as a pseudo dorsifid columnar epithelial tissues. Okay. So cells may be cuboidal, cubical or columnar, not cuboidal, sorry, cubical or columnar. On its free surface, there is a present of protoplasmic outgrowth called cilia. It helps in the movement of ova in the fallopian tube. You know, if you know about in 8th standard, we have seen about female reproductive organ where ovaries were there and fallopian tube was there. From ovaries, when this egg is coming to the uterus, at that time this is a connecting link, that is fallopian tube. So in fallopian tube, when egg movement takes place, who help or who stop to unroll it back? So these are ciliated epithelium, finger-like projections, hair-like projections, which just pushes these egg cells towards uterus. So these were different types of epithelial tissues. Now let's see about the next type of tissue, that is connective tissue. Now connective means what? Connective means which joins two. We know connective roads, we know connective buildings. So like the thing which connects two different things, it is called as a connective. So our body is also connected by different types of tissues, and hence the tissues which help for connecting different types of body parts are called as a connective tissues. So these connective tissues basically are of mainly three types, basically of three types. They are connective tissue proper, in which areolar tissues are there, which are present beneath the skin, which connect our skin with muscles or bones. White fibrous tissues are there, yellow fibrous tissues are there, and adipose tissues are there. These adipose tissues are also present below the skin. They help to store the fatty type of substances. Next type is skeletal tissues. Skeletal tissues are of two types, cartilage tissue and bones. And third one is vascular tissues. These vascular tissues which flow in our body, that is blood, because blood is also connecting all the body parts. It carries substances from one part to another part. It carries oxygen from one part to another part. Food is transported with the help of blood. And next type is lymph. Now as far as these connective tissues are concerned, let us see about blood. The cells of the connective tissue are widely spaced and embedded in an intercellular matrix. The mature of matrix decides the function of tissue. White and yellow fibers are present in the matrix. The basic function is to provide support and different organs and keeping them in place. As far as fluid vascular tissues are concerned, we have named them as vascular tissues. Blood and lymph are two basic fluid tissues or vascular tissues. Blood is connective tissue. Fluid matrix of blood is plasma having wandering or floating cells called corpuscles. Blood helps in the transportation of various materials such as nutritive substances, gases, excretory products, hormones, etc. As far as blood is concerned, plasma forms near about 55% part of the blood. Constitution of blood is 90 to 91% water, 7% proteins, in which albumin, fibrinogen, globulin, these proteins are present in blood. 0.9% is inorganic salts. Now these corpuscles forms 45% part of the blood. RBCs, that is red blood corpuscles, they are also called erythrocytes. Do remember, erythrocyte is another name of red blood corpuscles, containing red colored respiratory pigment called hemoglobin that helps in transportation of oxygen. WBCs, also called as leukocytes, they are also called a soldier of the body. They are irregular, amoeboidal. Amoeboidal means which doesn't have proper or perfect shape. As we know, amoeba, it doesn't have proper shape or definite shape. So they are amoeboidal. Phagocytic cells. Phagocytosis means which destroys extra or external material that protect our body by engulfing bacterial and other foreign particles. They are of five types. Who are of five types? WBCs. Okay, monocytes, lymphocytes, basophiles, neurophiles, ionophiles. About them in detail you have to study in 11th standard. Blood platelets or thrombocytes, they are also part of blood. They are spindle-shaped cells which are involved in clotting of blood. Whenever we get hurted because of something, our blood clots. Initially blood comes and afterwards that blood clotting takes place. So this blood clotting is taking place due to these platelets. They are also called as a thrombocytes. Next part is skeletal muscles or skeletal tissues. It is hard connective tissue that forms supportive framework of the body. It is of two types, bone and matrix. Okay, so in figure we will see one by one about all these tissues, but let us see first about bone. Bone, matrix of bone is very hard because of salt such as calcium phosphate and protein ocein. Do remember which type of protein is present in bones. OSSEIN, ocein protein is present in bones. Bone cells, they are also called as osteoblasts, are embedded in the hard matrix. Matrix is deposited in the form of connective layer of lamellae formed around a central canal. The cells occupy small spaces between the concentric layers of matrix. The long bones are usually hollow, containing cavity called as a marrow cavities. You know about bone marrow tissues. Bone marrow tissues are responsible for formation of blood. So these bone marrow tissues are present in the cavity. It is full bone marrow. Let us see about next different types of tissues with the help of figures. Diagrams are shown and in the diagram I will explain that. See in this figure you can see different types of connective tissues as loose connective tissues which are present under the skin. We have named them as epithelial tissues. Below this epithelial tissues, whatever tissues are present, they are loose connective tissues. Then adipose tissues are present at left side. Their structure is shown there. Then it is the blood cells. Just now we have seen about RBCs, WBCs, plasma and platelets. Then next is fibrous connective tissues. Their figure is shown, which is consisting of cell nucleus, collagen fibers. They are present in ligaments, fibrous connective tissues. Then next is cartilage tissues. Basically these are present to connect the organs. So ear is a cartilage tissue which is shown here at right hand side middle, and at the base of right hand side these are figure of bones. So these are different types of connective tissue. Let us see about cartilage. These tissues are elastic, less harder as compared to bones. Elasticity is due to the presence of chondrin. This is the name of protein. Do remember chondrin. Chondrin protein is present in the cartilage tissues. Cells are called as chondroblasts, which are widely spaced, and matrix is reinforced by fibers. It occurs at joints of bones in the nose, ear, trachea and larynx. It provides flexibility and great tensile strength. Next type is connective tissue proper. It is the most abundant type of connective tissue. It is further divided into following types as areolar tissues, adipose tissues, white fibrous connective tissue and yellow fibrous connective tissue. So areolar tissues is most distributed connective tissue in the body. In this tissue, it fills spaces inside organs and is found between the skins and muscles, around blood cells, nerves and in the bone marrow. Next type is adipose tissues. These are oval, round cells filled with fat globules. The cells are called as adipocytes. It is found in subcutaneous layer below the skin, around the heart, brain and below the eyeballs. This tissue, that is adipose tissue, acts as an insulator and prevent loss of heat from the body. White fibrous connective tissues are very little matrix containing abundant white fibrous forming layers. Bundles of these tissues are called as tendons. So tendons and ligaments are also types of connective tissue. These tendons, which are attached to muscles to the bones, and ligaments is another type which connect bone to bone. You might have heard about ligament many times from football students. Ligament gets hurted or ligament get detached. It harms to the ligament, something like. So these ligaments are connecting bones to bones. Yellow fibrous connective tissue, they are very elastic due to the presence of a network of yellow fibers in its matrix called as a ligament. Just now we have discussed about, which attach bone to bone. So these all were the different types of connective tissues. Their diagrams, their figures are shown in this slide for your observation purpose. Just observe all these different types of tissues. Next type of tissue is type of tissue is muscular tissues. These muscular tissues are further divided into striated muscles, non-striated muscles and cardiac muscles. So these muscular tissues, which are responsible mainly for the movement of our body for locomotion purpose, internal movement as well as external movement. So let us see one by one what these different types of tissues are with the help of diagrams, how they look like and what are their properties. Okay, so striated muscles, non-striated muscles and cardiac muscles, three types. Do remember about it. So here are striated, non-striated and cardiac muscles. Now striated means they are also called as a skeletal muscles. Non-striated means they are also called as a smooth muscles, and cardiac tissues as they are named as it is, which shows combination of both the types. Striations are also present, nuclei are also present, like that. So skeletal muscles, as shown, they are present where we are seeing actual muscles, how our muscle formation takes place we see. So these are skeletal muscles. Let us see features of these muscular tissues. These muscular tissues are long fibers like cells called as muscle fibers. They are capable of contraction and relaxation. In its types, first type is striated muscles. These striated muscles are also called as voluntary muscles because these are under the control of one's will. If I wanted to walk, then only I will. If I wanted to pick up something, then only I will. So in our legs, in our hands, whatever tissues are present, these are striated muscles, voluntary muscles. Muscle fibers or cells are multinucleated and unbranched. Do remember, multinucleated and unbranched. There is no branching in this type of tissues, and they are having many nucleus in one cell. That's why they are called as a multinucleated. Each fibra enclosed by thin membrane, which is called as a sarcolemma. Do remember, sarcolemma. About it in detail we will see in 11th standard. Cytoplasm is also called as sarcoplasm. These muscles get tired and need rest. So when we are playing a lot, we get tired because our striated muscles getting tired and they need rest. As far as second type is concerned, these are non-striated muscles. They are also called as the smooth muscles. They are involved in involuntary muscles. They are also called as involuntary muscles or smooth muscles. These muscles fibers are uninucleate. Only one nucleus is present in per cell, and spindle shaped. Spindle shape, or you can say boat shape. They are not enclosed by membrane, but many fibers are joined together in the bundles. Such muscles are found in the walls of stomach, intestine, urinary bladder, bronchi, iris of eyes, etc. Peristaltic movement in alimentary canal are brought about by smooth muscles. So this is non-striated muscles, also called as the smooth muscles, as I told you. So where there is a involuntary movements. For example, if we ate food, if we decide I don't want it to digest the food, will do? It will not. It will get automatically digested. So in that case, so in stomach, which type of muscles will be present? Non-striated muscles, involuntary muscles. They will do their function, though you wish or not. Okay. So such type of urinary bladder, urine filtration will be done by urinary bladder. Urinary bladder will store the urine which is coming from the kidneys. So after filling of urinary bladder, it will give sensations. Bronchi are lungs, bronchi. So their contraction and relaxation continuously will do. So all these are the functions of smooth muscles. Let's see next, that is cardiac muscles. Next figure we'll see cardiac muscles, how they look like. They are branched and uninucleate, and what are their other properties, let us see. So here is cardiac muscle fibers or cardiac muscles, third type of muscular tissues, shown in figure C. We show C, junction between adjacent cells, intercalated disc, nucleus, striations. Okay. In examination, one question can be asked: what is the difference between striated, non-striated and cardiac muscles? Okay, so write down difference between striated, non-striated and cardiac muscles. Here let us see about cardiac muscle fibers. They are also involuntary muscles, only found in the walls of it. Only in the walls of heart. Their structure is in between the striated and non-striated muscles. They are uninucleate and branched. Branches are united by intercalated disc. In these muscles, rhythmic contraction and relaxation occurs throughout the life. So they never get tired. Cardiac muscles never get tired. Okay, so they need not require rest. So these are different types of muscular tissues we have seen, which help in the locomotion of body inside as well as outside also. Last but not least is nervous tissues. These nervous tissues are highly specialized tissues due to which the animals are able to perceive and respond to stimuli. Their functional unit is also called as a neuron. As shown in the figure, cell body is made up of, with the help of axons, cytons, dendrites. Okay, so cell's body is cyton covered by plasma membrane. Short hair-like extensions siring from cyton are starting from cyton are dendrons, which are future subdivided into dendrites. Axon is long tail-like cylindrical process with the fine branches at the end. Axon is covered by a sheath. Axon of neuron is very closely placed to the dendrons of another neuron to carry impulses from one to another neuron in the form of electrochemical waves. This close proximity is called as a synapse. So the gap between two neurons is called as a synaptic gap or synapse. There are two types of neurons. They are medullated fibers and non-medullated fibers. The functions of neuron is they control all the body activities. They coordinate between various parts during any body function. So this was about a special type of tissue, that is nervous tissue, which help to carry information from one part of the body to the another part of the body, as well as different parts of the body to the brain, and brain to the different parts of the body. So my dear students, we have finished our chapter here. You are expected to complete DPPs from this chapter. If it is possible, write down the notes also in your notebooks. If not, okay, but DPPs are compulsory to complete. Okay. Very soon I will conduct one online test on this chapter. So stay safe, stay home. Thank you very much. You can subscribe this channel so that as many as new videos will come, which basically related with studies, they will be notified to you automatically with the help of email. So subscribe this channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.